Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live event. Thank you, everyone, for thank you, everyone, for coming in here in Saturday. And it's really nice to have you as our audience. Today, we will be with K8, short for Kuan Hoong. So let's invite him to the stage. Hi.
Hi, Zainab. Thank you for inviting me. Good evening to everyone.
It's really nice having you, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay, so without further ado, I think we can start.
Sure.
That's okay with you. Okay, so I'm sharing your screen. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so everyone, good evening. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. So today I'm going to talk about getting to know and have fun with TensorFlow.js. So like Zena has introduced myself just now, my name is Kuan Hoong, or you can call me KH. I'm actually based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm a GDE, Good Developer Expert in Machine Learning. So today, basically, we want to know what is TensorFlow.js and what TensorFlow.js can do. I'll show you a lot of demos and have fun with it. And then we'll come up with, we'll learn more about what is TensorFlow.js. Okay, so we know that machine learning is everywhere now. So one of the things that what we can do is we can actually have the machine learning in the form of JavaScript. Okay, we know that when we learn machine learning, one of the most popular language out there is Python. And then TensorFlow itself, you can actually write the whole TensorFlow thing in Python. But why would you want to do machine learning in JavaScript? Okay, so the reason is basically quite simple. The first thing is because you can actually do with JavaScript, you can actually run machine learning everywhere, basically anywhere that can actually run JavaScript. Okay, that means you can actually run your machine learning code in any browser, because any browser, or you can actually run your JavaScript in any server, whether it's a server or a desktop environment, or you also can run your machine learning in mobile devices, or even IoT devices. Okay, so this is one of the strengths of having JavaScript to run all your machine learning model. Okay, so when you talk about browser, we know that JavaScript you can run in any browser. Of course, the most popular browser out there, you have Chrome. Then we have Microsoft Edge. Then we have Safari. Then we have Firefox. So all these browsers support JavaScript. Then when we talk about in the server side, you can actually run Node.js. Okay, you can run Node.js at the server side JavaScript. Then we talk about mobile devices. You can run as a React Native or WeChat or Progressive Web Application, PWA. So all these mobile devices just support JavaScript. Then if you talk about desktop, you can run as Electron. Or if you talk about any IoT devices, you can run, for example, Raspberry Pi with JavaScript. Okay, so you can see there's a flexible there. You can actually run all these machine learning model in any platform out there. So that is the strength of having a JavaScript. So basically, to run a machine learning model, you need to actually do three things. First, you need to run the model, okay, or you need to retrain the model, or you can actually write your own model. So basically, there's three ways to run a machine learning model. Okay, so the first thing is maybe what you can do. Okay, the first thing is maybe what you can do is you can actually run a existing model. Okay, so you can actually run existing model. Okay, so any model that has been trained, any machine learning model that has been trained, you can repackage it as a JavaScript model, or you can actually write your machine learning model in Python, and then you just convert it to a JavaScript. Then you can run it in any devices. Okay, that's one way you can do it. That means if you have an existing model, you can just run it by converting it to a JavaScript. There's another way is you can actually, what you can do is you can retrain a model. For example, you have a model that can actually recognize dogs or cats, okay? And then you want the same model to recognize a specific species of a dog or a specific species of a cat. So what you need to do, you need to retrain a model with this new species of a cat or a dog. So what you can do, you can retrain the existing model, okay? with a technique we call transfer learning. So instead of training the whole model from the scratch, okay, you can just retrain a part of a model by using a concept called transfer learning. So once you retrain the model, then you can convert or repackage the model into a JavaScript, and then you can run that in any other devices. Of course, the last way is if you want to start from the scratch, okay, you can write the whole model in JavaScript, okay, then you can train the model from scratch. So basically, this is the three ways to run a machine learning model. Okay, whether you run from an existing model, retrain or existing model using transfer learning, or you can write the whole model from scratch in JavaScript. So basically, you can actually do whatever that you can dream of, okay, based on these three methods. You can actually run a machine learning model and then do something related to augmented reality, AR. You can have gesture-based interaction. That means you can have a model that actually recognizes your gesture. Later, I will do a demo. You can see a lot of demo that you can actually recognize gesture. You can do sound recognition. You can write a lot of web app. You can do sentiment analysis, or you can do like conversation AI, okay? Or you can do a lot of web page optimization and many more. So there are a lot of things that you can do related to machine learning that you can actually repackage into a JavaScript. Okay? For example, here, this is a model called PostNet. Okay? It can actually recognize human position, human pose in real time. So you can actually detect up to 70 landmark body point. Okay? And then this PostNet model, you can actually deploy into a mobile devices using mobile net. Okay, you can also deploy it as a RESTnet. Okay, so you can actually see this. Okay, I can show you a demo. Okay, so for example here, this is a real-time detection. So I'm running a webcam. So from this webcam, you can actually detect my pose. Okay, so you can see this for this model. Okay, this PostNet model, you don't need anything. You can run the whole thing here just using your Chrome browser, and you can detect your body pose on the fly. Okay, you can see you detect 70 position of my body, and you can just run this whole model just using your Chrome browser. So this is a flexible. This is the flexibility of running a JavaScript. You don't need to install anything. As long as you have a browser, you can run this model. Okay, so like I said, there are many ways that you can actually run a model. Okay, one way is you can actually run it using a pre-trained model. That means a model that has already been trained. Well, all you need to do is just call the library, okay, and then you can actually run the model. Okay, so this is the easiest way to use JavaScript classes, and this is a common use cases that you can have. That means a model that has been trained. Okay, then you can just run it, repackage it as JavaScript, and then you can just call it in any devices, whether it's a desktop, mobile devices, server side, okay, or any IoT devices, okay, or just a browser. Okay, so there are many use cases that you can actually see. For example, you can do this. You can actually do image classification, object detection, body segmentation. So there are already many models that have been trained. Okay, there are all these trained models. You can just call it, okay, and then you can just use it, okay, within the devices that you have. So you can see for image classification, there's already model been trained. For the body segmentation or post estimation, there's already model been trained. Model been trained. Then for speech command or the sentiment analysis, there are a lot of models that have been trained. So you can see if you go to TensorFlow.org/js/models, there are many models out there available for you to be used. Okay, so let me show you an example. So one example is doing object recognition. Okay, so one of the easiest, one of the models that people use for object recognition is called COCO-SSD. So COCO-SSD, SSD stands for single shot detection. That means based on one picture, I can actually, based on a single image, I can actually detect what are the objects inside the image. Okay. So for this COCO-SSD model, it's already been trained with 90 object classes. Okay. So there are 90 object classes that already been trained in the model. Okay. So you can actually recognize 90 objects. So you can actually use this model directly without any training, and then you can actually use it. Okay, you can actually straight away use the model, and then with any devices, any platform. Okay, so let me give you a sample code walkthrough. Okay, so generally a code, okay, you can actually start with a basic HTML. Okay, you can actually start with a basic HTML. So you have the HTML header. Okay, then you have a body section. Okay. Then from what you do need to do is, okay, you have the normal header, you can import all your CSS. Then you have a body section. For this body section, you can have a image that you're going to load. Okay, you can load the image. And then you're going to import the TensorFlow.js library. Okay, so you are going to load this library, okay, this library, and then you're going to load this COCO-SSD. This is the model that you are going to use to do object recognition. Okay, so you can see that we are not going to train any model. We're just going to load this model. Okay, so after that, okay, you're going to have this section where you're going to load the model. Okay, so the model will be loaded. Okay, so before the model being downloaded into your browser, okay, the image will be considered invisible. After the model has been loaded into your browser, then you can see the image. Okay, then from there you have a container. Okay, this container will have an event listener. So the event listener will based on the click. Okay, later I'll do a demo. You can see the result. So you have a function. This function will, when you click, okay, you will actually call a function called prediction. The prediction function, what it will do, okay, it will try to detect the object within the image. Okay, so these have the function, the handler prediction function. What it will do, he will try to analyze the image, and he will try to do an object detection within the image. And then he will load the model, he do the object detection, and then he will return back the result, the prediction. So the prediction result will be shown as a percentage, how well the accuracy of the score. Okay, how well is the accuracy of the prediction score? Okay, so if the model has been trained of the certain object is recognized inside the image, then you can see a score about 99 to 100% confident. Okay, and then the result will be shown onto the overlay onto the image. So you have a highlighter will highlight the image, and then he will show the result. Okay, so that's it. The rest is just CSS. Okay, to unify the whole thing. Okay, so you can see the whole code to do object recognition inside the image is pretty simple. Okay, the code is just that. Okay, so maybe I just do a demo. Okay, so let me load the image. Okay, so what you need to do now, you can see, so this is object detection, okay, a page where we are going to look at the demo, okay. So okay, so this is what happened. So when you refresh the page, the browser will load the model. Okay, so when the model is being loaded, the image is kind of gray out. Okay, so once the model has been loaded, then you can see the image. Okay, so what you need to do now is when you click onto the image, there will be an object detection run onto the image. So if I click here, straight away you can actually detect the image here. Okay, where the dog is about 97% confident. Okay, then you have a bow here, then it's about 83% confident. Okay, and then there you can detect there's a cup here with 71% confident. So the good thing about you can see for this case here, you can actually detect multiple objects in one scene. Okay, just like here, okay, I can click, you detect that there is a person about 96% confident, and then there is another person here about 96% confident. Okay, so this is a demo, and then you can see there's a dog here about 56, 55% confident. So you can detect 3 objects inside this image here. Of course, this is a static image. Okay, you might say that, oh, okay, this image probably have been trained multiple times. You can do this object detection just in the real time. So what we can do, we can enable a webcam. So you can see, you can detect me as a person in real time. Then if I show a picture like this, okay, you can detect that this is a cell phone, okay, with about 90% confidence. Then if I show another object, okay, so I'm not sure whether you can actually, because of the webcam, so you can say that this is a cup about 80% confident. So you can see that the detection can be done in real time. Okay, so this is a good thing. You just have a browser, okay, and then you can actually activate your webcam, and then you can do all this detection in real time. And then the code is pretty simple, like I showed you just now. Okay, so this is one of the things that you can do. Okay, if you have a TensorFlow.js with a model that is already trained. So we just use the COCO-SSD model just now, which is already been trained. Of course, you can do other fun things. For example, you can do face match. Okay, so this face match is you can do face detection. You can detect up to 468 landmark on your face in real time. Okay, so what can you do? What kind of application can you do with this? For example, here, okay, you can do real time detection of the face. At the same time, you can actually, for example, here you can actually use it to detect where's the lips. Okay, then the person can actually try out different lipsticks color in real time. Imagine, let's say you are working in a lipstick company. Now you're maybe because of the pandemic, you are not you cannot go to the mall to buy lipsticks. Now you can actually sell lipsticks and let your client test out the different product color in real time just using a webcam. Okay, so I can demo this face match. Okay, so let me demo this face match. So you can see for this face match, okay, you can actually able to detect my face with 468 point on my face in real time. Okay, and then you can see the detection is quite good. And the good thing about this is I do not need to install anything, and everything can be done just within the browser. Okay, because it's a JavaScript. Okay, so imagine you later I can show you there are many cool things that you can do. Okay, with these things with this face detection. Okay, you can see it's quite cool. You can actually detect and follow my face in real time, and then the whole thing is I did not install anything. It's running on my browser. Okay, so other than that, what can you do? You can see you can actually do body segmentation. For example, in this example here, you can see there are multiple person walking in the scene, and then you can actually do detection of the body part in real time. Okay, for example, you can see in real time, you can detect the abdomen, the hand, the arms, and the leg, and the thigh, everything in real time, and for multiple person. Okay, so you can see there's a you can see the power of this because you have the model that is trained for body segmentation. All you need to do is just load this library, and you can actually do this in real time. So what can you do when you with this body segmentation? Okay, so when you can detect the body, for example, this case here, this is person with Jason Mayers. You probably see it before. He's one of the biggest advocator for TensorFlow.js. So because you can detect the person body in real time, you can do a body removal in real time. So you can see she actually become like invisible man. Okay, you can see like he's already invisible. He can actually remove himself out of the scene in real time because you can detect the body. You can remove the himself out and blend it with the real time. Okay, with the background of real time. Another thing is what you can do because of the body segmentation. Imagine the application is you can actually use this to detect your body. Then you can actually use it to measure your body size. And this will be good for application. For example, I want to sell fashion online. I want to sell a t-shirt or pants online. Then I can estimate what size you're wearing. Okay. Then I can estimate what is your height and the size that you're wearing. Then I can provide you a better recommendation of the clothing size that you're going to buy. So you can see here, you can actually estimate whether he's wearing X or L or M or XL or what. Okay, because you can actually segment out the body, then you can actually do a measurement, what kind of body size is he. Okay, so this is one thing that you can do. Okay, another fun thing is, of course, this is very fun because I can detect my face. I can actually illuminate colors outside in real time. Okay, so I can change the color, whether the ray is coming out from my mouth, okay, or my eye in real time. So I become like an Avenger superheroes. Okay, so I can show you this in real time. Let me demo this. So you can see now, okay, you can it's loading the model. So once the model is being loaded now, you can detect my face, and then I can actually become like Avenger, where I can actually have a ray coming out from my eyes, and this is done in real time. Then I can change the color. For example, I can change it to 0.5. Then I can change the color in real time. Okay, or like that. Then I can change the color in real time, or I can change it to instead of the ray coming out from my eye, I can change it coming out from my mouth, and it's done in real time. And the whole thing is, okay, you can just do it within the browser. Okay. So what other things you can do? You can do a lot of fun project. For example, you have this person has a demo something called Mona Lisa effect. So if you have been to the museum, Louvre Museum in France, Paris, you've probably seen the Mona Lisa. So there is a theory that Mona Lisa will keep track of you wherever you go. Okay, so you can actually do a fun based on where you walk around. The eye of Mona Lisa will follow you actually. Okay, so it's quite fun like this. I can demo this. Okay, so you can see this is Mona Lisa. If I go, then the Mona Lisa the head will actually follow wherever I go. And it's quite cute. Okay, just because you can actually, because the model detect where is my body, so you can actually make the Mona Lisa eye to just track where am I going and then follow around. It's quite cool. Okay. Other thing is like just now you can actually do post estimation. So when you can do a post estimation, what kind of benefit you can do? You can actually teach people to learn things like, for example, how to play golf properly, or how to play baseball or cricket properly. For this case here, you can actually use it to actually teach people to have a better yoga pose. Okay, so for example, here this person he want to do the tree pose, so you can actually based on the body pose, you can actually detect whether the person is doing it right or wrong, and you can ask the person to hold it for 10 seconds. Okay, so this is a fun thing that you can do. Okay, of course, I can show you this demo also. So you can see so far whatever that I do, we can just demo it easily. I can just load it and then straight away. So for example, I can practice here. So you can see, you can detect my body, then he will know whether I'm doing it right or wrong. Okay, so there's a cool thing about it. So if you want to learn yoga, and then using a webcam, it will tell you whether your post is right or wrong. Okay, so that's a cool thing about it. So other project, for example, you can now, because you can actually detect your gesture or your hand in real time, now you can actually control certain, you can actually interact with your computer without any touch. Okay, so you can recognize your hand. So basically, it's just like having a camera, like if you have a Microsoft Xbox, you have a Microsoft Kinect, you can actually use it to have a body pose, whatever. Now, because of TensorFlow.js, you can train the whole model, use a train model, you can actually detect, okay, and then you can actually interact. Okay, you can actually move a cursor on the screen without touching anything. So touchless interaction. So I can do a demo for this. Okay, let me see. Okay, seems like because I'm using multiple cameras, so I cannot use it. But you can see the screen here is basically now you can detect your hand. So you know you can actually train certain gesture. For example, you want to move the cursor, whatever. So you can actually train it, and you can actually see that you can actually interact with the computer without touching anything. Another fun project is you can actually, for example, do AR mask, okay, like a filter, face filter. So we know that nowadays applications like Instagram, Snapchat, okay, or even Facebook, there are a lot of real-time face filter. So for this case here, this person created a filter where you can actually create a mask, which is a cultural face mask. And this face mask is actually open source in the GitHub. So anybody can actually use this code, and then you can actually change the mask. Okay. So let's see whether I can demo this. So you can see I can actually have an AR this augmented reality face mask in real time. Okay, it's loading the model. So now, as you can see, the face mask is actually following my face. I can change the face mask. Okay, so I can change it. So let me change it. So I can have different face masks. Okay, and depend on the face in real time. Okay, so it's quite cool. So what other application you can do? For example, now this person has developed something what we call AI robot videographer. So basically, imagine you want to actually record somebody playing tennis. Okay, so you want the handphone to follow the tennis player. So what happened now is because this model has been trained for following body. Okay, so the motor will turn accordingly. Okay, so it will actually turn accordingly to actually follow. For example, here you can see, okay, there's like a motor will follow the person around. Okay, so this is very good. Let's say you are at home. Okay, you want the handphone to follow you, have to move around. Okay, so because this model has been trained to detect body, so he will just follow where the body is around. Okay, so it's quite cool. Okay, so what other things you can do? Okay, what other things you can do? You can combine with AR, WebGL. You can do a lot of things. For example, this case here from a photo, you can actually create a virtual reality, augmented reality person in real time from one photo. Okay, imagine you are in love with certain actresses or certain actor, and you want to see the person in front of you in real time. Okay, you can actually do this. Okay. Other thing is you can actually do something what we call teleport. For example, this person, Jason, he's actually dancing inside in his own house. Then you can actually extract himself out, and then you can put him into another location. Okay, you can project him into another location. So something like a teleport. Imagine now we are always stuck in our house with a Zoom meeting. Okay, So you can actually put yourself in another location, and then the whole person body can be extracted out and then put into another location. Okay, so that's one way just now that we basically use all the trained model available out there. Another way that you can actually use this TensorFlow.js is actually to retrain certain part of the model by using a technique called transfer learning. So transfer learning is to actually retrain a certain model, okay, that work with your own data. That means you need to retrain certain part of model. Okay, so that you can actually use what we call transfer learning. So transfer learning basically is, okay, for example, okay, here we can actually train our model on the fly. Okay, so let me show you. We have something what we call here. Okay, so we have a website called Teachable Machine by Google. So now I can actually train a model on the fly. So let's say I have a model here. So I cannot use this because I'm using two webcam now. One webcam already used by the StreamYard. Basically, you can actually train a model like this. Okay, so you can see he trained a model here. One is a model where he trained using this with hand. Now without the hand. So once he trained already, he can actually say, if I show my hand, please show me this dog. Without my hand, please show me the cat. Okay, so you can actually train the whole model on the fly. Okay, you can try this if you go to a website called Teachable Machine by Google. Of course, another way to train a model, okay, you can actually train a model now using the Google Cloud, okay, Google Cloud Platform, GCP. So for example, now I have a lot of flowers that I want to train, okay, I want to detect flowers. So you can upload a lot of images of flower with the label, okay, you can actually upload a lot of images of the flower with the label. Then what you need to do, you just have to train your model, and then you can say you want to optimize your model. Okay, whether you want to be very high accuracy or have some best trade-off, or you want it to be a fast prediction. Okay, so the higher accuracy, of course, there will be a latency. The latency about 360 milliseconds. If you want to have a trade-off, then you have a lower latency, about 150 milliseconds. If you want to have fast prediction, then you can achieve a result in 56 milliseconds. So after you train your model, what you can do in the cloud, you can actually export your model as a TensorFlow.js. Okay? So once you export the model as a JavaScript, then what you can do, you can just call your model like I showed you just now. Okay, like I showed you just now. You can just call the model, okay, and then you can actually load it as a JavaScript. So you get same. So you have your, you can actually call the TensorFlow.js. Then you can actually use this model that you trained just now. Okay, the model that you have just trained using your Google Cloud. And this is a model that specifically trained on a certain type of flower that you want to detect. Okay, so the rest is the same. Just run the model, or the rest is the same. So this is one way is you can just train certain part of the model using transfer learning, and then you can just export the model as JavaScript. Then you just call the model. That's all. Okay. So the second way is to retrain the model. The last way is you can actually write your code from the scratch. Okay. So the last technique is, let's say I want to do something where there's no model being trained, and then I cannot retrain the model. So the only way I can do is I can write my whole code from the scratch. Okay. So you can actually code your whole this TensorFlow.js model from the scratch. Okay. So one of the easiest way to do this is, okay, by using this TensorFlow.js API. Okay. So you can create your own model using the API available out there. Okay. So there's two ways to do this. One way is you can use the Keras, which is a high-level API, or you can code, okay, in the low-level Ops API. Okay. So generally what we can do is you can code everything in the Keras. Okay, normally Keras is you can actually write in the Java, this is a Python code. So basically you have something like this. So you can actually develop your model. Okay, you can write it into, you can use the API, okay, to code your model, or you can actually go to the lower level, which is the Ops API. Okay. From there, okay, you can decide whether you want to run your model in the client side, okay, where you can actually run it in the browser or any WeChat application or as a React Native, where you can take advantage of the processing power of the CPU of the devices that you have. You can run on the WebGL, okay, or you can run of the this WASM at the client side. Or what you can do, you can actually run it as at the server side using the Node.js. Okay. Of course, if it's a server side application, you can actually take advantage of the TensorFlow CPU processing power, or you can actually take advantage of the GPU. Okay, the processing power available from the server side, the GPU. Okay, so if you develop a model, okay, using the high level API, the layer API, you can develop the whole model from scratch using Keras model. Okay, from using Keras. So Keras, you can actually write it everything in Python. Then you can actually save the model as a TensorFlow save model. Okay. Then what you need to do, okay, before you can run it as a TensorFlow.js, you need to convert your model, okay, into TensorFlow.js using the TF.js converter. So once you have converted into a JavaScript, then you can actually load your model and run it anywhere that you want. Okay. So after that, you can actually decide whether you want to run it on the client side or you want to run it on the server side. Okay, so the good thing about running on the server side, of course, the server side provide you much more processing power that you need. So if I run on the this CUDA, which is this GPU card, okay, running on the 1080 GTX, okay, the processing time takes about 7.98 milliseconds. Okay. Compare if I run as a TensorFlow.js node CUDA, the difference is about 8.81 milliseconds. So the difference is not very big if I run it at the server side. Similarly, if I run it as in the GPU, okay, the processing time will be about 20.5 milliseconds. If I run it as a server side as a JavaScript, the difference is about 23.1 milliseconds. So you can see whether I run it as on a GPU or run it on a CPU, the difference is not much difference, okay, because of the processing power available on the server side. If I run it on a client side, okay, what's the advantages of having running the whole model on the client side? Okay, so running on running the model has in the form of JavaScript on the client side is what? Then I do not need to send the data back to the server. Okay, just like if I run everything on the browser, there's no communication with the server. So everything, for example, my face is now that I run, so my face data will not be sent to the server. So there is a privacy. There's a privacy that is maintained at the client side. Okay, of course, if I run everything on the client side using my browser, there's no latency because I do not need to communicate with the server side. Okay, of course, also in terms of cost, it's much more lower because I just need to have a browser. Okay, I do not need to have other application, so the cost much more is lower and it's much more interactive. And in terms of reachability of my application is much more wider because let's say I have a model that I want to reach many people. Okay, so as long as the application, for example, it just can run at a browser site, then as long as any devices can have a browser, then it can run my application. So in terms of reachability and scalability, it's much better. Okay, so these are the advantages of having running JavaScript, okay, at the client side. Okay, of course, if I have a server side, what's the benefit? Okay, if I have a server side, then I can actually use my TensorFlow safe model. I don't need to convert it. I can straight away run from the server side. And then because my server has a larger computation power, I can run a larger model. If I run on the client side, maybe my client is IoT devices, and you have a limited battery, you have a limited computing power, and you have a limited storage. So I cannot run a very large model. Okay, and then when I run in the server side, I can just run in one language. There's a better ecosystem, and then I can actually have a better performance because I can bind with C or any just in time boost or processing. Okay, so both client and server side has its own benefit. Okay. So towards the end, you can see there's a lot of things that you can actually do. Okay, that you can actually do with the JavaScript. There are many communities out there. Okay, for example, if I show you here, let me show you. If you go to the GitHub, so if you go to GitHub TensorFlow with TensorFlow.js example, you can see there are many examples that is actually developed and the code is available. Okay, so there are many examples. For example, I want to do this baseball detection. Okay, baseball node detection, or I want to do as a fashion generation. So there are many examples, and the code are all available in the GitHub. So if you are interested, you can actually try out all this code available out here that you can actually try it out. Okay, and then if you want to know more, you can go to TensorFlow.js website. You can see there's a lot of tutorial. Okay, so there are a lot of tutorial to help you get started. And then there's like I said now, you want to see the model. There are many models out there. So for example, let's say you want to do body segmentation. There's a lot of code available for you to do. For example, this body segmentation here, you can actually see the code is available. You can try it out the demo. For example, let's say I want to do a post estimation. You can see the code is also available, and then you can see the whole demo. You can detect the whole body part, the post, everything. So you can see there are a lot of people using this this code here. You can come up with many applications that you can that actually you can use leverage on the post estimation. Then if you go down, there are other model that you have. For example, simple face detection. Okay, you can see here straight away you can detect multiple face inside this scene. Okay, and then you can have this face landmark detection. So this is the one that I show you. Can detect the face 468 point in the face. Okay, so you can see you can just do this in real time, and then the code is available for you. Okay, if you want to try it out. So you can see there are many models that's already trained. All you need to do is just call this model out there. And then there's a speech recognition. There's also this answering natural language question answering. Okay, so the community is quite big. You go to Twitter, you look for this hashtag MakeWithTF JS hashtag. You can see there are a lot of people try out different things available out there. Okay, so some of the example that I will show you just now, and then most of the code are all available out there. So looking forward for you to try it out. Looking forward to see what will you make up for all these things that you can actually try out with all this code available now. Okay. So if you're interested, there are many links available here. Later, I will send this slide to you guys. You can actually try out all this demo that I showed you just now. Okay, I think I've come to the end of the talk. You can find me in Twitter. My handler is Hoong, or you can connect to me in LinkedIn. So hopefully today I have shown you what are the potential that you can actually do with TensorFlow.js. Hopefully you can get inspired. Then maybe you can go and try it out all the code, and then looking forward to see what things that you can actually come up with. Okay, so thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for the amazing presentation.
Cool.
Okay. Well, for me, I think I was really motivated by the demos because they were so much fun and so cool.
Yeah, like you try it out. You should try it out.
Yeah. Great demos, and yeah, they're really cool. I was especially moved by the yoga pose estimator. I can imagine the possibilities about that.
Yeah. So you can actually use it besides yoga. You can use it to train people to improve their golf swing. So if you're a golf player, you can use it, or maybe a baseball or cricket, whatever, or even to learn about certain ballet, dance, whatever. I mean, the possibility is endless. Yeah.
Yes. All kinds of sports and dances.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And then the library is already been trained. You can just detect the post everything.
And it's all online on the web browser. So
Yes,
it's easy to use too.
Yeah.
Amazing. So we have one question here. Is the fake Obama speech video created with this technology?
Okay, Obama's speech is actually based on something we call GAN, Generative Adversary Network. So it is another branch of technology. It's a deep learning, another deep learning kind of branch. It's actually using using a single image, whatever, that you can actually generate a new image or video of a person. So you can actually look for it. It's called GAN, GAN, Generative Adversary Network. From there, you have what we call the deep fake. All these technologies it's actually generated from there. At the moment now, it's not available in TensorFlow.js. People have not converted to a library that you can straight away call because you need to train the face and then you need to overlay it. So it's not so easy to be done in just one browser itself.
Okay. And we had another question about the presentation. Can you share the presentation?
I will send the slide to you.
Okay, and we will and we will share it on our social media accounts so that everyone can.
I'll email to you.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Well, your Twitter account is also linked below in the description. So I think if the audience have any other question, they can reach you there.
Sure. You can find me in Twitter and find me on LinkedIn.
Okay, that's amazing. So thank you so much for the presentation. It was really fun.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay, so have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.